Oh, look at that. It is daytime outside, and we're headed to the gym. Yes, we are. Not our normal nighttime lift, but we're going to go get it in. Anyway, Spook World left me a comment, and you know, if you like spooky stuff and you're not following him, you probably already go give him a follow. But anyway, he wanted to know if he's trying to lose 8 to 10 pounds, would it be beneficial to just have protein shakes and a diuretic for like a week and nothing else? Maybe a multivitamin thrown in there, nothing else. And that is not healthy. I'm just going to be honest. That's not healthy. I would not recommend you doing that. Now let's talk about this for a second, because there are reasons that somebody might want to lose 8 to 10, even maybe 15 pounds. And there are ways to do that that's a little bit more healthy. Now, what I'm fixing to talk to you about is not going to be fat loss. If you want to lose fat, this is not going to do it. Okay? It's just not going to happen. But what you can do is you can shed water weight, and you can draw yourself out, or what they call flattening yourself out. See, bodybuilders will do this to make weight. Wrestlers do this to make weight. Boxers do this to make weight. And there's kind of a formula to it. So let's say you wanted to weigh a certain amount to make weight for something specific. You know, you're trying to join the army, whatever it is. You got to be this weight by this date. Well, immediately start dieting and lose as much weight as you can in a calorie deficit. And if you want to lose weight fast in a calorie deficit, you can definitely drop your calories all the way down to 1,200 calories. And I know that's super low, and a lot of folks would argue you should never do that, but you can drop your calories down to 1,200 calories. If, and this is a big if you hit your protein goal that you need to be hitting, 1 gram of protein for every pound of body fat that your ideal weight is. If you hit that goal, you can drop it down to 1,200 calories. And it's tough. I mean, it's tough. That is a tough calorie deficit to be in, but it can definitely be done. And if you have the will to do it, you can do that, and you can burn a lot of calories that way, right? You can burn a lot of fat that way. And then on top of that, and this is long term, right? On top of that, you can also add in an hour of cardio in the morning and an hour of cardio at night. And you can do that every day, and then keep your same lifting schedule. But I would say, instead of lifting heavy weights, because you're going to be depleted of nutrients, if you do that, you need to lighten your weight. Make sure you're giving your body a stimulus. You're going all the way to the failure, but you're doing it with lighter weight at a higher rep range. So if you're normally working in the 8 to 12 rep range, you would lighten your weight, and you would work into the 15 to 20 rep range. And that will help you stay healthy, not tear any ligaments, not do any damage or anything like that, and drop weight as quickly as possible. Now, I would not recommend going below 1,200 calories, and I would not recommend going above 2 hours cardio. And if you do that, the cardio session does not need to be, the 2 hours of cardio does not need to be 2 hours of cardio where you're running or sprinting or anything like that. I'm talking walking at a 3-speed with a 7.5 incline. And if that is easy and doable, you can bump your incline up, but do not bump your speed up from a 3-speed. And just do that until you reach your goal, right? And that's going to be the fastest way to reach your goal, but actually burning fat and not dropping water weight to lose your goal. Now, if you want to lose your goal quickly, like I was just talking about, for a certain thing, right? You got contest prep, you got whatever it might be that you're trying to do, right? You're trying to make a weigh-in for some reason at a specific date, and you need that your weight to be a specific weight. To do that, about 10 days out, first thing you want to do is drop your carbohydrates and start eating just protein. Then after you drop your carbohydrates and you're just eating protein, that is going to eventually put you into ketosis, and that is also going to deplete your body of glycogen and water, and it is going to put you in what you would call a flattened out state. Now, you also want to, about 7 days out, eliminate, keep with the low carb, almost no carbs, and then go ahead and cut your salt completely out as much as possible. So 7 days out, you're low carbs, and you've cut your salt almost completely out. And drink a bunch of water. I'm talking 2 gallons of water a day, right? Do that. That is going to put you in a diuretic state, and that is going to help you drop your water for those next 7 days. Then, and if you eat carbohydrates at any point during this, you're going to gain the water weight back. Another thing you can do while you're doing this, and you're staying really well hydrated, is you can also throw in 30 minutes of sauna per day. Just to kind of help you sweat it out a little bit, sweat some of the water out. All right, and make sure you're doing at least an hour of cardio a day. Again, you don't need intense cardio. You need your cardio to be 3-speed, 7.5 incline, just slow, steady cardio, because that's going to actually burn a little bit of fat reserves. Not much, a little bit. But the sweating, the reason you do hours, because you want to sweat during the cardio session, and that's going to help you deplete your body of fluids. And I know this sounds counterproductive, but drink a bunch of water. Because the more water you drink, the more fluid you're going to piss out, and then that is going to deplete your body more of fluids, right? And then 24 hours before the weigh-in, cut your food intake and cut your fluid intake. Just cut it out. If you get shaky or you got low blood sugar, something like that, get you a rice cake that is very lightly salted. Put some sugar-free jam on it and eat that, but try not to have more than like three or four of those. Don't, if you can, don't have those, because every one of those you have is going to put water back in your muscles, because it's going to rehydrate you. Those carbohydrates are going to pull in water back into your muscles, and it's going to make you weigh a little more. But anyway, the reason you cut out totally 24 hours to it is because you just want to piss out all the water you've been drinking. And you should have been drinking at least 2 to 3 gallons of water a day for the last 2 days before you cut it out 24 hours. And then after the end of that 24 hours, you weigh yourself, and you're going to be your absolutely most depleted state you can be in. It's going to put you in a state of absolute flatness. Your muscles won't look huge. You'll just be totally flat and depleted, but you'll be totally like as light as you can be, right? And another reason you cut out food the 24 hours before is because you want to poop out all the food in your system, because that weighs, the waste in your system weighs, so you get as much of that out as you can. And that is how you would go about drying out. And some bodybuilders will even take a diuretic like the last 2 days, or within that last 24-hour period where they're not drinking anything like that. They'll take a diuretic to help them pee out even more water. I don't recommend that. That's very dangerous. You've already depleted yourself down. You've already been manipulating your body. If you do that, just know it's very, very dangerous, and it can have bad side effects. That's why you see these bodybuilders passing out on stage and so on and so forth. But after you go and you make your weight, all right, and after you step on your scale, then you make your weight for whatever reason, you're wrestling, whatever it is, you're boxing, you're bodybuilder, whatever it is, you immediately carb up after that. And you start drinking water and electrolytes while carbing up. And you get out of that depleted state, because you don't want to go into your contest in that depleted state. It's just simply for making a weight, and that's it. And so what would that carb up look like? Well, really like anything, whatever you like. But you could have a couple donuts. A lot of folks will say, all right, well, let me get rice cakes and honey. It's very popular. Just eat rice cakes and honey to carb back up. But you want to eat a substantial amount of carbohydrates. And then once you do that and you drink plenty of water, your body will reabsorb all of the glycogen, all the water, everything back into your system, back into your muscles, and you will look full. And if you take that too far and you eat too many carbohydrates, you can go and too much with it until you look a little bloated. And really everybody is different, so you got to kind of practice with it and try it and see what works best for you, right? Whenever you want to exit the depleted state and re-enter that state of fullness. So that in a nutshell would be how you would do it a lot more safely. I just fear if you're just drinking protein shakes and you're taking a diuretic, I see what your thought is. Well, I get the protein, that keeps my muscle mass. The diuretic gets rid of the water that I've been consuming and will, flatten me out. Yeah, that's true, but if you got a full week to work with, you're much better dropping carbohydrates, eating mainly proteins and vegetables, no fruits, but leafy greens, broccoli, asparagus, things like that, and chicken, beef, steak, shrimp, things like that. Make sure you're getting some fats in your diets, because you'll be eliminating your number one fuel source, which is carbohydrates. So your body is going to turn to run on fats as fuel, and you'll need the fats in your system to help you regulate your hormones and testosterone and all that stuff. So make sure that you're doing that, and make sure you're having a multivitamin. If you're doing this, make sure you're getting, you know, your daily vitamins in. But yeah, it can be done. You can drop 10 pounds pretty easily doing that. But again, as soon as you start eating, you're going to put the 10 pounds right back on, and probably a little bit more within like a 24-hour period. So just note that is the method of doing that, of what they call drying out, right? And just note, if you eat too many carbohydrates, then you can become wet, which is just basically where you're bloated and you lose all your muscle definition. So you want to be in the in-between state where you're not dry and you're not wet, if like you're doing a competition or something, right? Or you're just trying to impress somebody or whatever it is, right? You want to be in that in-between state. So, but anyway, if you're looking to lose 10 pounds and you've got enough time to do it, like 2 to 3 weeks, maybe 4 weeks, like, you would be much better off dropping your calories to 1,200 calories, making sure you're hitting 1 gram of protein for your ideal body weight, per pound of your ideal body weight, and keeping your carbohydrates in your system, and just going about it like that. That is going to be much healthier, much better, and that will help you. You can drop 3 to 4, even 5 pounds a week if you do that. So just something to think about there. And then also have caffeine, because caffeine's a diuretic, and that's going to help you get rid of fluids, and it also boosts your metabolism. So make sure you're having some caffeine throughout the day. Not too much. I would say 400 milligrams a day, something like that. But that will definitely help you also. So anyway, today is leg day, so we're going to go in here and get legs done. After that is over, I will debrief on the way home in the Jeep chat on the way home. So next time we talk, I think we'll probably be doing some squats. All right, going up 20 pounds. 245. Let's go. Yeah.
That's where I feel like I got like so unlucky with my health, but I get smoked on arms.
This final set. Whoa.
For your wife, that for your wife, the game,
Shit.
I ain't with savage, don't bring your whole round. I'm gonna bougie, I'm switching my profile. All of my files get delivered. They think they do and we don't, I don't know how. I went through the low part, I need more times. I put on two every day on the floor. I'm getting sick of this shit, post some more. Yeah, cutting this shot at my driving this solid. I keep it on point, make sure nobody follow us. I got a block with a shot every stop and truck. I get the money and it's like a cop. You know I ain't ill, I'm gonna give all the choppers. I'm seeing the bills, ain't nobody stopping. Cause he got a love you, so that we probably been ready to heal back and school out the party. All of my hoes be face, too much, I was thinking shit in my bank account, better like that, switch up my friend, I'm sitting outside. Switch up my rap to the house, do with this shit, I do she gotta leave me alone. I ain't sad, don't bring it home.
Not bad, not bad. Not bad, not bad. Not bad at all. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. There we go. Oh yeah. Shoulder's looking good. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the rear's really coming in. Whew, losing their ass. It's worth it to gain the muscle. All right, lift is over, and it was really good. I would give it a 9 out of 10. I don't know. I felt like I could have gotten a little more of a pump, but you know, the pump isn't really dictate growth, and I did get stimulus, so hopefully we got some muscle growth. But we definitely went up in weight on the squat, so you know, that was nice, hitting that that weight. What was that, 225, so 245. So yeah, I'm no mathematician, y'all. Anyway, 245, and you know, I hit that for what, 9? And then the second round, whenever I got to, I feel like I had a couple more in me on the second set of squats, but squats are a strange beast. So basically what I did was got to like focusing on my breath, which normally I don't really think about much when I'm doing squats, honestly. It's just kind of me and the squat bar and, you know, numbers. And that's it, just thinking about numbers. And there's really not much else besides push. Maybe every once in a while I'll think push in my head, because I got to get it up and it's fucking hard. And so it'll be the driving, just fucking push, you know. But that's really like all the thoughts I got. Not a lot of thought process going on during squats. Let's just put it that way. But for whatever reason, I kept thinking, like, take a breath in, squat, push, you know, and that breath in at the top. Because I keep thinking, like, make sure I'm breathing, right? Don't not breathe. But anyway, it kind of like got me mixed up, I feel like, and my breath was not as natural as it normally is, if that makes sense. I don't know. It's really hard to explain. And like, I went down on the last one, and it was like you know, I don't know. It was almost like the breath wasn't there. Like I didn't take a good enough breath or deep enough breath, or maybe I should just took more time to get a good deep breath in before I did the squat. So anyway, it is what it is. But that being said, I definitely couldn't have got more than one more rep, maybe, you know, out of it, maybe 2 max. So we were definitely, you know, RIR, 2 rep RIR at fucking very most, which, you know, is supposed to provide plenty of stimulus for growth. And, you know, we went to failure on everything else, so I'm not that worried about it. And then the RDLs felt really good, and I was able to get a couple extra reps on the RDLs than I got last time, so might be time to add a little 5-pound plate to both sides of those. Get a little bit more intensity, up the progressive overload some. Other than that, yeah, it was a really good lift. So just make sure you're progressing your progressive overload, right? Make sure that you're keeping track of where you're at somehow. I mean, if you're able to do it in your head, great. Do it in your head. The way I'm doing it right now is I'm keeping track of a couple of core lifts, and I'm just making sure I'm getting stronger at those core lifts. And then everything else I'm kind of keeping in my head. And for the most part, I can remember, like, okay, I was at 65 the last time I did, you know, tricep push downs. So let's go ahead and bump it up to 70 this time, because that was a little easy. And then also another little trick I'll use is I can kind of feel like, okay, let's try that. That feels a little light. Let's try a little more weight, you know, try it and be like, oh, okay, now that's got some tension to it, but maybe it's not quite enough. So go a little more, like, oh, okay, there it is. That's the tension that I'm going to need to reach failure at the point that I want to reach failure. Now, sometimes when I do that, you know, I'll go to working out and it'll be like, I get to, you know, I'll think, oh, I can reach failure about 12 on that. Sometimes I'll get to, you know, 15 or 16. You're like, oh, I need to adjust the weight up a little bit. But, you know, you still go to failure. Just because you get to 12, you don't just, oh, I need to stop, I'm at 12. You know, no, you keep going until you can't fucking go anymore. Until your muscles cannot do the fucking rep anymore. And then on your next set, you add a little more weight because you're like, oh, okay, I was a little light on that last one. Or maybe you get going and you think you're going to be able to rep out 12, but you only get 9 or 10, right? And it's like, oh, okay, well, maybe I should back it down just a smidget, just a tad. And so you back it down just a tad. But for the most part, if you've been lifting for a while, you can tell by the tension on the lift about, you can make a guesstimate about how many reps you're going to be able to get. And then I think it's also important, like, don't focus on, like, if you're trying to, like, go in and be like, oh, I got to do 12. I'm going to do 12, bang, you get it, you stop. I'm going to do 12 on the next one, bang, you get it, you stop. Oh, I'm going to do 12 on the next one, bang, you get it, you stop. So all 3 sets, you got 12, you know. No, fuck that, man. I don't think that's the optimal way to train. I think you're much better off if you say, okay, I think I can get 12. Oh, there's 12. I haven't reached total muscle failure. I can still do more if you just keep fucking going until you can't do any more. In my opinion, for me, I believe that has worked better than, you know, hitting 12 and stopping. Because I used to be like, okay, I need to hit 12, 3 sets, and then I'll increase my weight by 10 pounds. And so first set 12, all right, great. Second set 10, okay, that was pretty good. Third set 8, and then eventually it's second set 8, then eventually third set 8. So all your sets are, I'm sorry, second set 12, third set 12. So eventually all your sets have hit that 12. And it's like, okay, now I need to progressively overload. And that's fine. You can do that. But I got a lot more growth whenever I stopped doing that, because I wasn't going to failure on the first 2 sets after I had become acclimated to doing 12, right? So whenever I started hitting failure on every set, that's whenever I feel like I got better. And now I'm like, okay, if I hit 12 on that first set, I'm going to go ahead and increase the weight a little bit. And that has worked out really well. That's worked out fine for me. So, you know, everybody's different. It might not work out for you that way. You might be better off with the former method. Whatever method is your cup of tea is the method that you want to go with. But you need to experiment, I think is what I'm saying, and try various methods and see which one is best for you. Which one does your body respond to? Because obviously my body's going to respond differently than your body's going to respond. And once you find what your body responds best to, stick with it. Stick with it for a while. Stick with it for 6-7 months. And you might want to change that up down the road. That's perfectly natural. But stick with it. And do fucking exercises you enjoy. There's no sense in going to the gym and doing exercises that are just a fucking chore. It shouldn't be a chore. It should be fun. Like you get to go to the gym. Like you're excited to fucking be there. So do exercises that you enjoy too. That's the other tip I would give you. All right, I got to get off here. I need to go in. I'm going to have my creatine, my protein shake, take me a shower, and I'm going to go over to a friend's house, play some NCAA until about 1 o'clock in the morning, and then I'm going to come home and go to sleep. So I will talk to y'all tomorrow.